Welcome, everyone. This is Kelly, and I'm here today with the beautiful Silvia. Hi, Silvia.
Hello, Kelly, and hello, everybody who is watching live on in replay.
Yeah, welcome. So let us know if you're watching live or watching the replay in the comments. I know there's a lot of people in the US, so it'll be too early for them. So yes, let us know. So Silvia is a shaman, a medicine woman, I would say. Silvia, would you explain
Could
what
be
that
so
is?
Kelly is going directly to my true essence. Normally, I say I'm spiritual business coach, but could be that I am a medicine woman because shamanic journeys are important part of the process when I'm working with the clients, that they can connect to their true themselves and heal their wounds if there are any. Yeah. Mhm.
Beautiful, yeah. So a spiritual business coach, and I went straight to what I feel and
It's
see.
just labels.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so Sylvia has done the Awaken Your Womb, the self-study element, and I invited her along to share her experience today. So could I ask Sylvia, what drew you in to do the course? How did you know that you kind of had to do it?
Mhm. So I saw Kelly's promotion on Activate Your Womb, and I was reading the description. And what touched me deeply was that it's a way how to connect to your deeper wisdom in you. Because, okay, I live in Czech Republic and in Czech and Slovak market. When people speak about womb and femininity as such, it's a lot about the sensual stuff, etc. But nobody directly says, okay, but if you do this work, it's about connecting to your true essence and this innate wisdom. So I say, yeah, because wisdom is this what I'm working with a lot, and also awakening the wisdom in other people that they can connect to this. So I said, yes, I knew, okay, this is this what you should do. So it's nothing rational or so, but I just it's just a calling that okay, go and buy.
Yeah, and that's what I feel with this work. So many women get called to it. And I love that you said that about the wisdom that's in the womb. You're so right. So many people talk about the sensuality, the sexual power, but not really about this deep feminine wisdom. So during the course then, did you experience that? How was the experience for you
Uh-huh.
during the course?
For me, it was a lot about, I would say, relieving the grief which I did not know was there or was still there. Because, okay, I'm on like spiritual path development for I don't know how many years, or I was always drew to, uh, studying, I don't know, typologies and all the stuff around. So I said, okay, you did already a lot of work, but of course, there is still more to discover. And it was interesting when I was just paying for the course that my tears started to to run on my face. I was like, what is it like? And this was like, I was like, wow, I don't know. And also when I was doing all the journeys, that it was always like deep, I would say, like shedding the layers of grief or some wounds, or I don't know at rational level, yeah, what was happening. Just I know that a lot of tears were relieved, yeah, and also kind of maybe tension from the body, etc.
Yeah, this is a really good point because the course is actually a lot about cleansing and releasing. So, what I feel is that we have this innate wisdom, this innate beauty within us, this deep presence, this deep feminine presence. There's nothing we need to do to get it, but it's like it's laden down with these covers of guilt, of shame, of grief, of sadness, which we've all experienced kind of collectively, on a collective level, the repression of the feminine spirit, and then also our personal experience of losing children, of being disconnected from this space, all stops us from, like, if this space is a space of trauma for us, then of course it's natural that we disconnect from it. So when you clear, you're then able to connect to this deep essence.
Yeah, for me, an image came to me. It's like if you want to look out of your house and your window is dirty, So you have impression that everything outside is gray and but it's just these layers of sadness or grief or whatever. But then when the windows and you clean the windows, then you say, ah, but there are colors, there is sunshine, etc. So this came to my mind as an image for that, what Kelly described.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's so true. And the thing is, I think a lot of us don't know our windows are dirty.
Because you're so used to it, you think it's normal, right? That it's like this. Yeah? And this is, you live with this for I don't know how many years, and it's like that. And then you suddenly, when you shed it, it's like, oh, but the colors are brighter, and now you hear the birds singing, etc. So for me, it was also when you ask about the result of this work after the cleansing, that it's like, of course, deeper connection to myself, but also I would say to the outside world, that the flowers, so it's appreciating the little moments which before were like, "Bah, nothing is good." Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, so really, yeah, I get you, like really seeing the beauty in life and almost resting and receiving that beauty in life instead of having it cloudy.
Exactly. And I perceive it also in the connection then with the others and feeling like compassion, like more compassion. And also as the heart grew like bigger, or, it's like, yeah, I would say then understanding. And it also, I was in one situation, and when people were like drinking the shots, and it was just noon time, and I was like, what is it? Like first my mind was judging, and then when I look into the eyes of the person, I saw this deep grief and sadness, and then the person shared the story. I was like, yeah, okay. So and it was the person I did not know before, but I knew I should and go and touch him, and just give them this. Yes, you can express emotions. It's okay. You don't have to, just cover it with alcohol or whatever. Just you can relieve. And then he was like, okay, can I hug you? And it was a person I did not know at all. But before doing this work, I would be like, just don't do anything, right?
Yeah, so I'm hearing it's like opening up into this
Mm.
deep presence. And this is what the feminine brings when we're able to sit in her throne space in the womb, we're able to be a lot more present. And actually, our presence is very healing from what you've just described, just our presence.
It is, and also I think, um, that then if something comes to me as a go and do, then I go and I do, and I don't question if I can, or they would look at me like, oh, are you crazy? Like this is not what's done in this culture. But just I knew, okay, go. And I was then like, well, before I wouldn't have maybe courage to do it. Or maybe it's also about this, when my grief was released, then I could go and have presence for this person who was going through the grief. Because otherwise, I would be like, oh, just I don't want to look at my grief, so I'm just pretending it's not happening, or just judging, or he's just drinking shots.
Yeah, yeah, I hear that when we don't get triggered as much by other people
Mm.
because we are here, so we're able to be there for them. So, what other like results have you had? You've just talked a bit about having more self-confidence and less self-doubt in your voice and your path. Is there?
Mhm. It is also like when I release some grief, or was, or how to say, to I allow the more like this pendulum of emotions and then go, then of course I was expressing my anger much more. Yeah. Also, like especially in the family, it was because I was more sensitive to this what's bothering me, and what not. Before I was like, okay, then just don't express yourself, just okay, just good girls don't do that, like and go screaming. So now it's like, okay, so still like cleansing some this anger layer. Before it was more this grief and sadness. So it's, I would say, it's like still the process is like, settling down. And but it's interesting that even I express this anger, that is for a short time, and deep inside I feel calm. That it's not that all my personality would, or all the person would now be completely like out of, I don't know, or it's not rage, but it's like really like clearly saying like, hey, and or if they are not respecting my borders, then this dragon comes like, not like this anymore. Yeah, and they're like, oh, it was just a joke. I'm like, I don't like that. Yeah.
I've really found this with clients doing this work. It's like this inner goddess rises from the womb and comes up to the throat chakra and speaks her truth.
Mm,
Because women, a lot of women have had a lifetime of silencing, of peacekeeping, of making sure everyone else is all right. And when you come into yourself, you connect to your deep worthiness and your deep desires. And it's like, I'm not going to settle anymore. And so that
mm.
anger can often come up, and then it's a healthy anger because it's kind of saying what your needs are and what your desires are, and what feels good for you and not.
Yeah, yeah. So it's really like taking care of my needs, and first it is like feeling them, recognizing them, and expressing, and it's like, and also the surroundings. Then they will rearrange, because when you change yourself, then the system around you changes also. If you changes one part of system, then the others they need to readjust. Yeah, so it's not like hello, now I change, so you change. So they just so sometimes it can be maybe a bit of turbulent time in some period, because you changed in some way, and then they it's not all you anymore, and they need to readjust also. So what I could see that it's still like settling down, like when you blow, when the dust is flying, and then it just needs again to kind of settle. Hmm.
Yeah, which is settling down with you in your power and you in what your desires are and you owning your space.
Yeah, and as far as my business is concerned, so I can see that it's not okay. I did my work in some way, and now it's like this, like okay, finding the new ways and saying, and it's about also trust now. Okay, so some things ended, so now it's like birthing. You know, when you have expecting baby, so it's not you say, "Hey, I want baby now." No, it takes some time. So I would say this, but I feel trust in it, even though I don't see yet like all what's awaiting behind the corner. But it's like okay, so it's like really from this place of peace and wisdom, and let's say okay, so let the thing unfold. You know, it's
Yeah.
like flower. You cannot say flower now bigger. It just needs time. Mhm.
And this is the feminine way of connecting to that deep inner wisdom within, getting that direction and allowing it to blossom, allowing it to unfold, not forcing it in this distorted masculine, or forcing the outcome of putting your will and your thoughts over divine will, but working in flow with the abundance of the universe, and having that deep trust that's connected
Yeah,
to the feminine
it's a lot
frequency.
about the trust. Also, when I work with my clients, and they say, "But I don't know this," yeah," and they start to like with mine, they start to panic, yeah, or making up the ideas what could work or what could be useful, but it's not theirs. Even me, when I was looking on my some intention setting, I don't know, which was 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I'm reading it, I'm like, what is it like? It doesn't resonate with me. Like I was like, hey, you wrote a sentence, but just like, yeah, you know how it should be or could be. But I'm like, hey, was it me writing this or somebody else? Like,
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. So, is there anything else that you want to mention that you've experienced?
mm-hmm. Yeah. What was maybe the strongest moment for me was when there was one exercise inviting also the children and the children which were not born. So I had two miscarriages, and it was like what? And I was not aware that there was still like the souls sitting with me, let's say, because I did some psychotherapeutic work. So I thought, okay, I did my exercise, like that's fine. And then when I had like bonus session with Kelly, and she asked me, hey, and have you done any ceremony for that? And physical ceremony, like, and I was like, no. So, and when I did, so it was another layer going away, that I really, it was exactly the moment when I saw that the sun was shining brighter, etc. And this work, it was like for this. And then when I'm part of one mastermind, and the lady, she asked me, it's like, hey, but you have still soul sitting there in your like lineage or in your past lives, etc. I was like, but I didn't know. She's like, no, but it's layer by layer. You can because it would be too much for the system. She's like, okay, you did this work, but do the work for all the how to say timeline, because it also influences energetically you know. So I was like, wow, what? Still? I thought like, okay, so I thought I did that, and she's like, yeah, it's still there. So definitely, when you do this work, it goes deep. Maybe you need courage for that, because you can feel again your deep pain, which you maybe were not aware of before, or you just kind of, you say, okay, next step, and you just kind of, how to say, you just, we continue. But it's in the air, and it takes your energy, it takes maybe even this joy from life, because you say, okay, you can feel emotions just from here to here, not not wider. And you feel then your life can be kind of boring or gray, etc. So that's why when you say, when you feel there is something like frozen in you, or do you have like deeper, like what I had before, like sometimes I was sad and I didn't know why. I was not outside, like nothing was going on, like okay. But then, and now after this work, I have these moments less and less, yeah, of this, where I would say, oh, there is sadness and I don't know why. So if you want to perceive the world in brighter way, and you in deeper way, then go and do it, you know. Mhm.
Oh, thank you so much, Silvia, for taking your time and coming talk to us today. I'm going to explain a bit more of some of the subjects that you talked about. So everyone else, please stay on, and we'll say goodbye to Silvia now. Thank you.
Thank you. Take
Oh, it's lovely to hear from Silvia, and this is such a good point because um, trauma, grief, it's collectively normal for us to hold on to so much grief and trauma. And that's partly because we've lost these feminine rites of passage that really honored the cycles of life, such as coming into menstruation. The Magdalens had a deep ceremony and initiation into womanhood, which was not just the beginning of the bleeding, but the beginning of opening up that sexual energy, that life force through the body. Other rites of passage, such as motherhood. And then limit with motherhood then is this grief that we have, the grief from loss of miscarriages, from infertility, from difficulty from getting pregnant, from terminations, from loss of relationships, from perhaps having toxic relationships. And all of this is held within our womb space. And often then there's a pain in this space that we are trying to kind of put a lid on. We're trying to not feel it, not go into it fully. And often some of the therapies we may have done are almost conceptualizing them. And so we haven't gone to the deep place. And all of these traumas are held within the womb space. And so then that creates a natural disconnection from this space. If we don't have the tools, the rites of passage to heal and cleanse our womb, then it's really normal. The majority of women are very disconnected from their womb space. And being disconnected from your womb space, then, as Silvia was saying, you're disconnected from this deep inner wisdom, this deep guidance, this trust, your infinite power to create, and this deep inner knowing in life, this kind of a knowing of your voice and your boundaries. The thing is that this space is your direct line to the goddess. It's where you physically embody the goddess within. It's her temple. And if it's been laden down with toxicity, with pain and trauma, then you can't access that deep innate wisdom. Most of my clients say that when they do this work, they suddenly, like Silvia said, she has a deep clarity on what their needs are and how much they've been neglecting their needs and what their next steps are. So it helps you then define your needs, know what your deep needs are and your desires, not from your headspace, but from your deep inner needs, and starting then to honor those needs and shake up relationships and ways of working around you so that you're actually really truly honoring yourself, probably for the first time in your life. It then, creates this deep inner confidence and this deep trust in themselves that your path is unfolding, and that you are taking the right steps. And there's no need to have this self doubt and worry. In fact, self doubt and worry melt away. And then when women do this work, they have this authentic voice, this unique essence that's been silenced for millennia that comes out and it rises up. And I really call the throat the mouth of the goddess. When the throat is connected to the womb, this voice comes up, and if you've been a people pleaser, if you've been putting other people before you, if you've been treading on eggshells, when you do this work, this fierce feminine comes up, but it's a beautiful fierceness, because it's really honoring who you are and what you need. So why does this happen? As I said, when the womb space is clear, your temple space is clear. And I don't think you realize probably just how much you've been giving away this rich, nurturing womb energy to others in an attempt to heal them, in an attempt to take care of them, in an attempt to nurture them. It's almost like women have been conditioned that we're only important to others around us when we give to them and when we put other people first. And this leads to a lot of expectation on women in relationships, all relationships, friends, family, partners, children, to put their needs before you. And this ends up you being depleted, tired, and actually not having enough of that rich creative life force energy to birth your projects. So you may have an idea for your business or your creative project, but you're not able to realize it. And it's often because this rich energy has been given away. Now, when this space is clear, you're able to fully awaken your womb and really connect to this infinite wisdom and creative power within, and feel the deep confidence. When I've been thinking about clients that have done this work before, I've helped many clients double their income into the hundreds of thousands, get out of toxic relationships. I've helped many women get out of narcissistic, abusive relationships, toxic relationships, or just unloving relationships where they haven't been truly honored. The thing is that when we've been in a relationship that's been unloving, they are projecting into us their trauma and pain. So we're holding a lot of not just our pain, but the pain and trauma of our partners that we've been intimate with. Clients have healed deep grief like loss of children and miscarriage. I've helped many clients heal sexual abuse and trauma, deep stuff that's been buried inside of them that's had them terrified and made them feel like they just need to live with that. That's just normal. I've helped clients find this deep inner peace and harmony within that they said is more priceless compared to their $1 million business. I've helped clients get into a relationship. One lady had a 6-year drought, nothing, and then a week after doing this program, found a loving relationship. I've helped women get more intimate and more close and open up to their healthy relationships. I've helped women heal sexual shame and where they give their love away too freely. I've helped women get pregnant. One lady in her mid-40s had a beautiful baby boy last year. Women healing extremely painful periods, that were debilitating and they couldn't move, being able after 2 sessions to be able to have normal periods where it's pain-free. So I want you to know that if you've experienced any of these things that I've talked about or anything similar, then you need to get off the sideline and come and do this course. I have to give you this nudge because I know that you will 1,000% thank me. There's women that already joined last week and they're already so grateful. They're sending me messages of love, of having deep dreams and realizations. One lady's got out of a toxic relationship already and we haven't even properly started yet. So now is the time. And, if you feel like, oh, now isn't the time, then I would challenge you to really question, where is that voice coming from? Because is it the one that is trying to keep you stuck, the ego part that's frightened of change and delays and keeps you stuck in the same pattern? Is it the part of you, the voice that says it's not the right time because you're too busy and you're on this Ferris wheel of doing and doing and doing? And if you are too busy to do this work, then I say you need to do it more than anything, because that is a clear sign you're in your distorted masculine, having the weight of the world on your shoulders and having to do everything alone. And you really need to invite in this feminine way of receiving your desires with ease and grace. Um, some people have said they can't afford it, and some people really don't have the money, and that's absolutely right. But I want to share with you a story, because one of my private clients, I'm working with her privately on helping her get out of a toxic relationship and really build her business. And last week we were talking about her income goals for her business. And she described what she wanted to make. And I was like, okay, well, what's that for? And she said, well, day to day, taking the family on holiday, paying bills, day to day bills. And I was like, okay, can you ask your heart and your womb what you really desire, just you on your own, not your family or your business? And when I asked her that, she started to cry, because she realized she had been neglecting herself so deeply, and she'd invested money in her business and on her family, things that she could justify, but she hadn't actually ever invested really in herself. And she wanted something really simple, like some new summer clothes, some new sandals, because actually last week she went shopping to buy all the kids' new clothes, but she never even thought to buy her own clothes. And so this is a real sign that if you are scared to invest in yourself, it's probably because you never really have, and you always put it in other pots. I will say investing in Awaken Your Womb is really an investment in her, in the deep feminine within. It's a commitment to the divine feminine within. And it's an honoring of all that you are. It's saying to yourself, I am worthy, I deserve this, which is perhaps something you don't say to yourself very often. I've had a few women message me as well and say that they're a bit scared of the trauma they're holding. And Silvia talked about this. One lady I've been speaking to, she experienced sexual abuse as a child. And so I've had women in toxic relationships and miscarriages. So if you are frightened of these things and you feel like it's almost a Pandora's box if you open it, it's like when we put a lid on things, it becomes a big, scary monster that we've learned to live with, and we've learned to live with the residual fear and trauma around those things. If you are one of those people, then you really need to come and do this course. Especially, I would say, if you can do the 8-week version where we can work together and you can get my support, because it's absolutely possible to clear this and to meet it and transmute these deep, heavy traumas and toxicities, but only if you say yes, that you're willing to do it. That's what it needs to take. That's what it needs you to take. And if you are someone like that, watch Dominica's video, because she talks about how I helped her release sexual trauma. So don't think this is something that you need to live with, that this is just part of life. Absolutely, this is something that you can heal. And I've helped many, many women do that. So you have the two options: Awaken Your Womb. You have the self-study option, which you go at your own pace. And then you have the other option, which is where you work with me and a small group of women, and we go through the course together. Reach out to me to chat about it. Don't let your self-saboteur hold you back. Really, you're going to be so grateful. Like I said, the women that already said yes last week are messaging me saying thank you, and they're so relieved. So reach out to me if you've got any questions, and I look forward to welcoming you to Awaken Your Womb. Lots of love.